I'm Ryan. Bill O'Reilly says the Liberals want to eliminate the Electoral College and marginalize the white vote.
And I'm Ryan. We'll discuss whether he is drunk or sober when we return.
You know, Betty White really is the greatest Golden Girl. Choosy parents choose Jif. He's so mean. He really is. Hey Ryan, are we out of partisan again?
Shocker, I'm going to come at this a little bit differently. He says Clinton wins the popular vote by 2.8 million, but California provides the entire margin of like 4.3 million. So yeah, I mean, if you just disregard a state of 39 million people and an economy the size of France, the whole election changes. Crazy.
By the way, I think it's the 6th largest economy in the world. California, the state of.
Just get rid of that and things are different. Really?
Shocker.
And you know, if you get rid of the state of Texas, which is Trump's largest victory, he actually doesn't win the Electoral College.
Oh, wow.
He only clocks in at 268.
Oh, wow. So he needed a huge state.
Yeah, interestingly, you can't just change and get rid of things to make your point. It's ridiculous. Anyway, beyond that, oh, actually, I forgot to tell you. I think he's a little sloppy here.
Oh, really?
I got him at 0.18.
0.18.
0.18, a little sloppy. So his next point is, he says, if abolished, only the big cities or big states. Kind of like what you talked about, but he actually lists some states, and I couldn't remember them all. He said you could essentially go to Philadelphia, Dallas, Fort Worth, Miami, New York City, LA, Chicago, San Francisco, and Houston. Okay. And he just says, like, you know, and that's basically what you need. So I'm going to give you some perspective. Those states, those metro areas, have a population of about 26 million people. Now, the 3 states that Trump won that determined the Electoral College, Pennsylvania, Michigan, and Wisconsin, total he won those states by 78,000 votes. Those 3 states have a population of 28.5 million. Oh, wow. So the 10 massive cities he's talking about have less population than 3 cities or 3 states that don't have such huge Pennsylvania, pretty decent population, but these aren't big. To give you an idea, he won Michigan by 11,000 votes. He won Wisconsin by 23,000, and Pennsylvania by 44,000. So that win margin that gave him the 46 electoral votes he needed, they were super close, so if Clinton had won them, Clinton would have won the Electoral College. This is why these 3 states are important. If he maintained that margin of victory, in order to get to Clinton's popular vote expansion, he would need that win margin across 110 states. Oh, wow. So right. I'm going to give you some more perspective on how much more she actually won by. Okay. You know, people harken back to the Founding Fathers and the intent of things and what they intended with this stuff. You know, how would they feel about these things today? Well, she actually won by more than the population of the United States in 1776. Right. So that's a lot. It's an enormous amount, and that's why people are talking about it, because it's an enormous amount. On to the next point, he says it only benefits Democrats. That's really just another way of saying it only benefits minorities. He specifically links minorities to voting for Democrats. He absolutely does, yes. And so, I guess if he's saying it only benefits minorities, does that mean that right now it's only beneficial to Republicans, or it's only beneficial to white people? Correct. So, I was thinking about this too. When you say marginalizing somebody, I think and you would say that it marginalizes the whites or the white voters if we go to cities. Is the opposite true today, where our current system marginalizes the minorities? Interesting that you would bring that up. So, my next point is, he says that it's not a national election if we do this, right? Right. So we assume that when he says national, he means varying viewpoints. Because if it's certain things, then it's only concentrated in certain areas. Fair representation for all. Exactly, right? Okay, so here we go. If you look at the maps, look at the 3 states, the 3 states that we talked about that he wins. You see where they are physically. And then you look at the 9 cities, 10 if you included the Dallas-Fort Worth metro area. and you look at where they are and see how far they're spread apart. You kind of talked about this too. Additionally, if we look at the we look at the demographic makeup of those three cities, of those three states. Excuse me. They're roughly 80% white.
Right.
If you look at the cities, excuse me.
Great. I'm glad you did this. I'm curious what the cities look like.
The cities average 52% white. Now, the national average is about 62% white.
So, are you trying to show us that if we presume white people vote Republican because minorities vote Democrat, he should win the cities?
No.
Okay.
I am pointing out that the cities are actually closer to the national demographic average than those three states.
Oh, fair representation.
Closer to fair representation.
Right. But I do actually, I'm going to hop on that.
Yeah.
Would you agree that if more of the city is white, and he's saying minorities are the ones in the cities that are voting for the Democrats, and that's why they'd win, he should still win the cities?
Yeah.
Right?
52%.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Cheers.
Cheers.